What's going on, everybody? Welcome back here. My can of soda was already open, so I didn't do the classic opening up of a can of soda. We had to start a little late because I ordered pizza. I ordered a cheese pizza for my daughter. I ordered a pepperoni, bacon, and sausage pizza for me, obviously. And I get there, get the pizza. I go to my car, do the double check because I got two sides of sauces, so I
You
had to
gotta
make
double
sure.
check.
See, they opened it up in the store. Like when I picked it up from them, they even opened it up themselves, looked at it, made sure the sauces were in there. I saw the sauces myself, but I still had to check myself when I got out to the car. It was a good thing I did because when I did observe the pies, they were 2 cheese pizzas.
Not good.
Not a good time.
No.
I would have been a very, very, very upset person had I got all the way fucking home. Not that it was like crazy far away, but you know, I mean, when you order a pepperoni, bacon, and sausage pizza, and then you get a cheese one, that's a big difference, man.
Yeah, it's a
That's a
little
big
disappointing.
difference. I don't do cheese pizza. Like I rarely even eat pizza anymore, and if I do, it's gotta have a bunch of meat on it.
I
You
feel
gotta
like
get some sort of sustenance out of that. It's just bread otherwise. It was good. It was a huge week though. We had what all we had? We had the Venom trailer dropped.
that was good.
That was really good. Bad Batch Part 1 of the finale today. Suicide Squad yesterday and today, whichever one works for you. I ended up watching it last night. Rick here. We got Rick Metz here in the house. Right here. He has not seen Suicide Squad.
I have not, unfortunately.
Despite the bright yellow shirt that looks like
It is a little yellow, yeah.
that's like their color for the Suicide Squad.
Well, and it's funny, I take it away from the earth tones I usually do.
That's true. You could argue that yellow is an earth tone.
Color sunlight.
It is the sun. It is the sun. There we go. We also got. Actually, hold on. I don't know if I have. John Knight is here, but I haven't pulled up his camera yet. I don't know if his camera's even on because I haven't pulled it up yet. Let me
It
see.
should be.
I see it. Let me pop this bad boy out. All right, let's see if this is in the proper order, or if I'm gonna have to resize shit. Bam. Yep, that's him right there. Perfect.
Stuff freeze.
Ah, success. No resizing necessary. Love when things just fall into place, man.
Right.
So, John, I know you just got back from the theater. So, did you have a chance to watch Bad Batch?
No. Nope. I had the kid all day and then got my folks to watch him for this evening so we could go check out Suicide Squad. So, no.
Oh, you didn't take the kids with you? It's a family-friendly movie.
We figured we'd send them on their own, ruin somebody else's experience.
Yeah. No joke.
Nothing like having a 3-year-old.
Yeah. Freya watched Suicide Squad with me last night.
But did she?
Yeah. She liked it. She thought it was good.
Yeah, I'm sure for a kid, like, you know, if you just kind of ignore the violence and stuff, it's entertaining for her.
Yeah, I mean, to her, she knows it's fake, and she knows who all the characters are, so she's very intuitively aware that it's a comic book superhero kind of thing because she's into that kind of stuff.
Right.
So it didn't really nothing. The only thing I made her not look at is we'll get into Suicide Squad here in a little bit because Rick hasn't seen it. So me and John will probably talk more about it here in a bit. But there's like the sex scene. So I made her look away for that because that's not something she's obviously been exposed to. Even though it wasn't very graphic, it's also like, well,
yeah, not the kind of thing you want.
6-7-year-old, we can avoid this for now. You don't really need to see that. All right. But all the violence and stuff, it's really no different than a fucking cartoon. Like, there's animes that are just as violent.
Oh gosh, yeah.
If not more violent. You might catch me looking down at my phone like I am right this very second because there is a solid chance that I might be winning a bid here.
On what?
If I win, I'll let you know.
All right.
If I win, I'll let you know. It ends in 15 minutes.
If you lose, will you let us know?
Yeah, I'll let you know either way, I guess. I'll just
Alright.
keep you in suspense for now. For now. So we got Rick here who has watched Bad Batch, John who hasn't, and then we got someone who hasn't watched Suicide Squad. Rick, since you're probably not gonna be able to stay too long,
Right.
what let's talk Bad Batch. What do you think?
It was good. It
Was
was
it a
better
step
than
up?
last week.
Yeah, so a step up from last
Yeah,
week.
definitely a step up. Just a lot of interesting stuff happening with Crosshair and that whole saga. So it'll be interesting to see what'll happen with that. We were talking about it off camera, the whole thing where he like says he had his inhibitor chip removed, but at the same time, like they definitely amplified his inhibitor chip. So some of the stuff just doesn't make sense, but I'm sure any of those loose ends will be tied up in the next episode. So I hope so, at least.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
I came to a conclusion too, but
of what
the point of the Bad Batch is.
Oh,
Because you kept saying, like, I just don't know where the show's going. I think literally the main reason for this show is just to show you what happened to the clones and how stormtroopers were made. Like in a fun way.
I don't know if that's enough. And that's the thing. If that's indeed the thing, they're not focusing enough on the Empire stuff. Because that's the same thing as what I've been saying. Like,
They really have.
they have the whole Rise of the Empire story beat, but they haven't really focused on it very much at all.
No.
Like, you've seen like bits and pieces of it.
There's episodes where you barely even see the Empire.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, that's a very compelling story beat, but they don't really focus on it at all. And really, like I said, the only thing that really disappointed me about the show overall in general was that it didn't have an overall direction to it. The majority of the season, I won't say half because it's kind of even hard to say. Majority of the season is just what mission are they doing for Sid today,
Right.
and like that was it.
Nothing that really advances the story.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, nothing. There are some things that, like, sometimes, like, one of the many story beats they were like introduced throughout the series. One of these missions may tie into it, one may not,
Right.
and they just didn't. That's my biggest complaint. So they didn't really just pick one and really flush it out. Instead, they introduced a bunch of these different storylines in these kind of just throwaway missions. Like, none of the missions were really live or die.
Right.
Like, they had the Ryloth episode, which was more of like, I don't know, Clone Wars nostalgia stuff for the most part.
Right.
Like, because I mean, ultimately, that's not really going to lead anywhere because what that leads to is the show Rebels. So they've already done that. So there's really no point to even do any of that in this series, in all honesty.
Right.
Not that it wasn't cool, but like I highly doubt the Syndulas are going to be like main characters going forward in season 2.
No, I wouldn't think
You know
so.
what I mean? It was just like, oh, here's this. And it's like, okay, that's fine. Because I would say in the end, at least with how the series it looks to be wrapping up the first season anyway, is that the overarching plot was just them and Crosshair, but they left Crosshair out of so much.
Yeah, Crosshair's been out of the picture for a while.
Yeah, and it's like, and that's the one thing I don't like about what they are doing with Crosshair's motivations because they didn't show any of this.
No.
And
There were little like tiny scenes of it, but
well, yeah, and you had to infer it too, because like I commented on that stuff like when on the Ryloth episode, like in particular, that's the one where you saw like Crosshair looking kind of like mopey, you know, when he deliberately misses the shot at the ship as they fly away.
Yeah.
And like, because I mean, this is a dude, like this dude's a sniper marksman, like the best marksman.
Yeah, like
in Star Wars to date, realistically,
right.
And he ain't gonna miss that ship.
He took out an entire group of stormtroopers with one shot.
Yeah, and with no pre-lining up sights or anything. It was just like bam, quick draw, killed 4 stormtroopers like with a ricochet shot. Like, come on, like he ain't missing a ship. But like they introduced this thing that like Crosshair, his whole motivation has been like he's felt betrayed. By them for leaving him, like they abandoned him.
They didn't really have a choice.
It's like, yeah, and he Hunter even says that. He's like, you didn't give us a choice.
Right.
Like literally.
You just went bad.
Yeah, it's like you just like you just wanted to be some sniper god and do whatever, you know, a superior tells you instead of thinking for yourself and doing what you think's right. Like, we didn't abandon you. Like, if anything, he abandoned them.
right.
Like
They
he
stuck together.
Yeah, like exactly. He abandoned them to go serve the Empire, whereas he should have stuck with the crew.
Right.
Like that's the whole point. So I feel like his brain is just a little bit twisted on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like with the inhibitor chip thing, there's no fucking way that thing's been removed.
No,
Be-
they amplified it.
They definitely amplified it in the show. Like they have that whole scene where Tarkin and it was like Tarkin's last
Like
episode, I
episode
think.
2 or something. No?
Yeah. Well, it was earlier in the season, yeah. But it was I think it was Tarkin's last episode before this one, I think. If not, he left in the next episode or something. Like Tarkin wasn't in very much.
No.
But they literally have like a couple scenes where they're in like the lab increasing and amplifying the chip. So there's no way they would have just taken the chip out off camera. Like that's a pretty big story beat to like just do and then just tell you.
Right.
Which is the same thing they did with Crosshair's motivations right now. They're doing it's show don't tell. And right now they are just telling us what Crosshair's doing as opposed to showing any of it.
Right.
Like
showing his motivations.
Yeah, they should have shown if the chip was removed, they should have shown that happening.
Right.
And then they should have shown how he felt he'd been abandoned and that they betrayed him.
Yeah,
they didn't show any of that.
They showed like a split second of him looking sad.
Yeah, and it's like and that could be interpreted in so many different ways.
Yeah.
Like it's not very clear. But ultimately, I like the show and I'm glad it's getting a season 2 because I'm hoping that they like I don't know.
Expand on it a little bit.
Expand on it a bit. Yeah, I'd like to see it go be I know in the end, I think I feel like what they were trying or wanting to do was like kind of be like Mandalorian-esque to where like they wanted to do like the mission of the week stuff with the Bad Batch and just
Right.
like you're just supposed to like have adventures with the Bad Batch and it's like yeah I get that but they didn't really do a good job of that
Yeah.
because like a lot of
like a big overarching story to it.
well and they wouldn't need a big overarching story as long as every episode was compelling and like there was good character moments but a lot of the episodes didn't really have that.
No, you're right.
Like not that any of them are bad, but I mean, like you said, your biggest gripe with it, you brought it up for the first time probably like 3 or 4 weeks ago. So it was, you know, quite a few episodes ago, but you're like, every episode is just Omega, just like, we've got to help them.
It really is.
And it's just like, I didn't even notice it till like either last week or the episode before that, but like it happened. And I was just like, God damn it, dude, Rick's right. Like, I was just like, this kid, like, immediately is just like, oh, we've got to help them.
We've got to help them.
No, like, we don't.
They're
we literally,
our friends.
yeah, we don't have to help them. They were just trying to kill us.
Like the world they live in and stuff like that, like their universe, like who cares? Like,
yeah,
they're just trying to survive.
Yeah.
You're being hunted down by the Empire. Like,
yeah, for real, right? It's like, you know,
yeah, let's help really this random Twi'lek girl, like,
yeah,
that I made friends with 5 minutes ago. Like,
you're like, she seems nice.
Yeah. It's yeah, that's all it is. Like,
yeah. And then, like in this episode, she goes off script again, and kind of puts everybody in a worse situation. Like they got out of it fine, but she activated a little bit too much of those prototype Dark Troopers.
Yeah,
like a little bit too many of them. Like I don't know. It was sad to see though. Like Camino getting blown up.
Right.
That was a sad time.
Yeah.
If you're someone who has watched all of the Clone Wars, like it would hit you a little bit more. Because like, and honestly, I wish they would have spent more time with the Bad Batch on Camino to kind of show what sort of, I don't know, emotional ties they had to the place.
Right. Yeah.
You know, because like,
they
when they get there, it just pretty much blows up right after that. But like they collectively, if you were to cut out every scene of the Bad Batch on Camino from the entire season, I don't even think you would get one full episode.
No, I don't think you would.
Yeah. So like I don't know. Like you only really care if you've seen everything else that like the Clone Wars
Right.
because they spent so little time on Camino.
Yeah, you don't have any like emotional attachment
Yeah,
to
it's
it
just
or
like, oh,
anything.
I guess this is supposed to be bad, right?
Right.
Like, oh yeah, it is what it is.
Right.
John, as someone who hasn't seen the Bad Batch, is any of this making sense? This last episode, anyway. Or did you ever get caught up with the episode from last week?
No, I was caught up for all of 10 seconds before like the second to last episodes aired. I think the last one I watched, somebody had been taken. There was a planet that they were on, and somebody had been. No, the last one I watched was the one where the woman that they work with, that they were doing the jobs for,
Sid.
Sid got overthrown, and they had to go back and help Sid get her thing back in control. And they had there was the pit with all the, was it Minax?
Yeah, that was the worst episode of the season.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
wasn't that good.
So yeah. So
I
that was
literally
the last one I
forgot
watched.
about that episode already.
Right.
Like so little happens that like nothing relevant to the story.
There's a lot of this show that's pretty forgettable, honestly.
So, there's some of it.
The one that sticks out to me was the like second or third episode with the deserter clone. It just
See, there's the thing. If you watched Clone Wars, it means a little bit more. So I
Right.
disagree with that. Because you meet that guy in
I just
Clone
didn't like
Wars.
the episode.
Yeah, I liked that episode because that episode showed how the Empire and like them taking over a planet and what their the turnover is. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like the Republic credits and like they don't work
Chain
anymore.
code,
You got to
yeah.
get the chain codes, and it's like they showed all that in that episode, and they had the deserter guy. I can't remember his name right now, but he was
Cut?
yeah, I think it is Cut. Yeah, I think
Ah.
it's because he cut
Yeah.
from the core.
Right.
But yeah, I liked that episode. That was good. I didn't mind it. I don't know what they're gonna do to kind of wrap it up though. Like, do you think someone's gonna die? Do you think we're gonna lose someone?
I don't know. I mean, I go back to what that musical composer said, like towards the end of the series, he said it was so emotional that it made him cry. It's like, what's gonna happen, man?
I think he might just be thinking of the destruction of Camino though.
Yeah, I mean that's very possible.
Because like I said, if you
Is there-
actually watched all the previous stuff,
It makes it a little more.
it's a little bit more emotional.
Yeah.
Like if you've only watched Bad Batch, you've spent next to zero time on Camino.
Right.
So you don't give a shit when the planet's getting destroyed.
Yeah, you don't even know what it is hardly. But
Yeah, but if you watched all of Clone Wars, like no, then yeah, you spend a lot of time with all the clones and everything. So
Right.
what were you saying, John?
Is the next one the final one, the last one of the series or the season?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, next week.
And it was announced this week that it's coming back for
Season 2.
for a second season.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. That was this week that happened. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to get my timeline right.
Yeah, it was just confirmed. I think yesterday, like the day before the finale, or the part 1 of the finale, because it's a part 1 and part 2, supposedly.
Pick and Hunter,
Mm-hmm.
Ricka.
And there's a prototype Dark Troopers.
Right.
I don't know I don't know if that's actually what they're supposed to be, but
They
that's
look
what
kinda
they
like
look
it.
like. Like that, they literally look like Dark Troopers. They're not as efficient as the real Dark Troopers, though.
Right.
They just kind of get their ass beat.
Yeah, they just kind of throw away. But yeah, it was a good episode. It definitely, I enjoyed it, like I said, more than the last episode and the one before that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to like about the last one, though.
No.
That's just the end. Yeah, that's just the end.
There it goes.
I will say though, man, the animation is fantastic. Still.
Oh gosh, yeah. They definitely have not failed in that department.
I spent so much time in Battlefront 2 on that Camino right there.
Yeah. Like on the platforms and all that
Mhm.
stuff. And yeah.
Got 1 minute left on this bid.
Do we sit here and just wait?
Oh, I'm about to put in the final bid.
Is this a Hot Toys?
Yeah.
I figured.
There's a buy, sell, trade thing up for one of the Facebook groups. I'm browsing through all theirs. I really wanted Infinity War Spider-Man, but they're all going for like 300 still.
People Rob Bifo got it.
I was just outbid. What is I really don't want to go higher than this.
Do it.
No, I don't want to.
Well, what was it?
It was this.
Oh, nice. That would have been cool.
Mr. Dooku.
Dooku.
Mr. Dooku.
Yeah.
Christopher.
The most I
What
wanted
was
to
the price?
Well, it ended up just selling for 416. I was the highest bidder at 350.
Oh,
And that's where I'm calling it on like Dooku in general. Like I don't want to spend more than $350.
No.
Not feeling that
I don't blame you.
at all. It'd be different if it was like a brand new one or something. Like
an open box.
But I mean, even then, it's like the brand new was only like a $230 figure.
Like at retail, though.
Yeah. So like it would have been like 250-ish around with shipping. So I think he was 230. He may have been 250 or 280. I can't actually remember. Somewhere around the $300 mark.
Right.
Nevertheless.
Oh,
I tell you what, there are a lot of figures there that came out this past week.
Once you guys get into it, I'll probably flake out.
It's shocking that this stuff wasn't announced during the thing. Because John, you were saying that like a week ago, as they started announcing more and more figures, it's like, why wasn't any of this stuff a part of the whole the con and then the summer event, and like Hot Toys had their summer showcase, and like it was like, well, why'd you leave all this stuff out? Because it was like literally the next week there's 10 more figures,
right?
So they could have had a crazy event. But I don't know, maybe it just seems odd that they had it like spaced out so closely. Like, I guess not spaced out, I guess. Like they did it so close together. The announcements were very close.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Have you seen any of these new announcements, Rick?
I have not.
Those more recent ones?
Saw some of it in like the what was it? The thumbnail.
I don't even know. What did I put? What did I put? I put this in the thumbnail, I think.
Idris stuff.
They got this Zombie Hunter Spider-Man, which I think this is actually pretty cool.
That a what's with the cape? That Doctor Strange's cape?
I imagine.
I think so.
I don't know.
Yeah. They do a good job with like the textures on the suit.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not familiar with the story for this.
What if?
I just like how the suit looks, in all honesty.
Yeah, the suit does look good.
Then they have like
It'd look good without the cape.
the Hydra Stomper and Peggy Carter. For whatever reason, though, they don't have a lot of like these. It's so weird too. Like the Peggy Carter and the Hot Toys zombie Captain America are on display. But they don't have the like they're at Secret Base, but they don't have the like pictures of them. Like they already exist. How do you feel about them doing the animated likeness?
It's kind of strange.
Why is there an
I noticed that too when you just had that picture pulled up. Look at those dudes running swim.
I ain't gonna watch them. Give them shit.
Zombie Captain America.
Yeah.
That zombie Captain America figure looks amazing. I mean, you're going to have a shelf of like somewhat animated figures. I mean, unless they do the entire line, you're only going to have a handful because I don't imagine they're going to do all the different episodes.
I would say though, this one, if you had the Mysterio, like zombie Iron Man, and then the zombie Deadpool, that's 3 zombie
have
Marvel
a zombie
figures.
theme thing going.
Yeah.
Right.
Even though this one looks more animated than it would still fit in.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't look like too weird in my opinion. Like, but like they do have those 2 other zombie ones. I don't know if I don't know if I don't know how many
Well,
characters are in the zombie episode.
here's the other thing that's a little confusing to me. I mean, maybe I just haven't looked at the pictures close enough, but the Spider-Man, the zombie hunter Spider-Man, doesn't look animated. It looked like a regular Spider-Man figure that they threw a Doctor Strange cape on.
It does not look animated. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I don't know.
So then it doesn't go with.
I don't know how they would have made it look animated though.
The way you sculpt the head, the way you sculpt the body, like I mean, there's the Peggy Carter
But he's
face
wearing a
sculpt is
mask. If he
sure,
had a,
sure,
if he had a
but
like that's the one thing that is strange that this doesn't come, no pun intended, that this doesn't come with a Peter Parker head sculpt, because apparently the Marvel Legends one does come with a Peter Parker head sculpt, and even the Lego minifigure comes with a Peter Parker head sculpt for the Zombie Hunter Spider-Man. So it is kind of odd.
Yeah.
This one wouldn't, but as far as like, I don't know how you could pull off an animated Spider-Man without going out
you
of
make
your
his
way to
head
do
not
like
so.
cell shaded or something. But
Well, I think
they're
I think
perfectly
you do have to go out of
proportionate.
your way.
I don't think you do though. They didn't do that with the Captain America or the Peggy Carter. Like, they just have normal skin tones. It's just the way her hair's sculpted and the lack of detail on the face that makes it look animated.
Right.
Mm.
Like in a fully
I think there's a way
helmeted
to do it. I
figure.
think there's a way to do it. I think it's going to look. I think that. I mean, I haven't seen the figures in person, so I don't know. But for me, it would look. My opinion is that it will look weird having that figure on the shelf next to 2 clearly animated figures, because I don't see anything that's animated about that. Now, I'm not an artist, I don't know, but I'm sure there's something that they could have done to
Oh yeah.
I
instill
don't
an
know.
animated quality to it.
But then he would have stood out because the only way you do that is give him like unproportionate body parts.
Right.
And then he'd completely stand out between everybody, because like they're perfectly normal proportioned people. It's just it's just like I said, the lack of detail in like the way they sculpted her face makes her look animated. Because if you put like a Gwyneth Paltrow head sculpt on this body, it would look like a normal thing.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? It's the body doesn't look animated. Like, it's just a normal humanly proportioned body. And the only thing that like would really make it, I guess you could say, goes in line with it being animated is that there's no like weathering on it. So it just looks like cartoon drawn thing.
Right.
But
Yeah, that definitely looks animated.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's just how they sculpted the hair and everything, and
Yeah.
then, like I said, lack of detail on the face. I mean, that's
It's a
why
good
I
interpretation, realistic interpretation of an animated character, though.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. If you put a, you know, a more accurate head sculpt on there, it wouldn't change anything.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like nothing about that looks animated other than the head.
No.
And that's the same thing with the zombie Captain America. Like, it's a very high quality, like realistic suit. It's just the head sculpt is lacking realistic details that makes it look animated in any way.
Yeah. Doesn't have like the hair fibers or anything.
Yeah. Which is why, like with the Spider-Man, it's like he's wearing a mask. I don't really know what they could have done.
Right.
The only thing they could do is make an animated Peter Parker head sculpt to go with it. And then it would look animated, but it's just kind of like, I don't know.
Well, they should have done something. Then they should have included the Peter Parker one, because, like I said, it's going to look freaking weird to have Peggy Carter's animated head standing next to Spider-Man's realistic-looking head. in the display. To me, it would. There's no way I'm getting those toys and putting them next to each other because I just don't think they look good together.
I wouldn't get them regardless.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't care either way. I think this one looks cool though. I like the Spider-Man one. I don't like the Peggy Carter one. And I don't like the Hydra Stomper either.
Right.
I just don't like how it looks. Like, they're fine. I don't really care about the characters all that much. Like, frankly. I think the cape kind of makes it look cartoony.
Just a little bit, maybe.
Like, I just don't know what more you could do to make the Spider-Man outfit look cartoony. Unless I
It's
said,
already kind of cartoony.
that's what I'm saying. It's like they made it very bright and vibrant colors. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think the proportions are too realistic though to be cartoony.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If
they're gonna make the face, if they're gonna make it angular and animated in an animated style, then they should do something with the body to make the Spider-Man body, or at least the Spider-Man head sculpt, be more angular and animated too, and not perfectly round. Just to give off the impression that it's an animated thing. It's not a realistic look.
Right.
yeah, I would prefer.
I mean, I don't think it's unreasonable to expect them to be able to match the art style for a person's face with a mask. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It just, like I said, bugs me.
I would have to see what it looks like in the show to really be able to.
I mean,
your camera's glitching out
do,
right now, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've seen him do. That's weird.
Oh wow!
I've seen him do.
It's like the remix, dude.
Right.
Yeah. You look normal now.
I've seen him do like animated Marvel Legends figures that match up with each other better than Hot Toys has done here. So, and like animated Batman figures that match up with other animated Batman figures. Those are all masked characters too, and those are we're talking like $15-$20 toys that they can get the art elements to match up and look like they belong together. So I would think there would be something that Hot Toys could do at the $250-$300 price mark that they could make it match a little better.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, like that's a perfect example of what I'm saying though. With like the animated Batman figures, they have they're stylized in the show. They look like they have normal human proportions. So I don't really know what they could have done to make it look cartoony when it's like a full suited person. You know what I mean? Because the only thing that is cartoony on Peggy is the head.
Right.
And that's like a human head, not a helmeted.
But the design style of Peggy in the show is, I mean, it's animated. It has an art style to it that they're emulating.
Well, not the
I
body,
can't find
though.
pics of it, so I can't see.
Like the body is a normal body. Like nothing about that's what I'm saying. Like both the body types for Peggy and for Spidey are normal proportions. So without doing like stylized, like the Batman animated series proportions, their legs are like toothpicks and their torsos are like the Hulk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they they're very angular. Like, and that, so anything in that design would look like that, but like they have very realistic limbs.
Right.
in the What If series. Like proportionally, they're like normal proportioned characters. It's just the like maybe they should have done cell shading or something, because I think the show is like, I don't really care for the animation style of the What If show, honestly. I need to watch it, but like everything I've seen of it, it's not working for me. Like the actual like, do you like what like the commercials you've seen for it and the trailers? Like just how it looks? Like I think it looks kind of cheap.
Yeah, I don't
haven't
know. I
seen
mean, I
it.
haven't looked at it that closely. It looks okay to me, but
I just don't like the overall art style of it. Like it just looks kind of like it looks like. Do you remember when MTV made the Spider-Man TV series that had Neil Patrick Harris voicing him? It was an
Yeah.
amazing show, but it reminds me of that. Like, let me see if I can find that. Like, it was actually a good show.
Yeah, that was on, like, MTV. Yeah.
That's what I just
yeah.
said.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't hear you say the MTV part, yeah.
Let me see if I can find like a trailer of it.
I hate to say it, I think I'm gonna sign off, clock out. I'm fading over here. I'll watch the trailer. This is from, like, the early 2000s?
Our whole lives.
Yeah.
Trying to
But this is
figure
what
out
the
who they
animation
are.
style reminds me
But
of.
for me-
240p.
It's about keeping it a secret.
But you see how like they're stylized even in this. Like,
Right.
Ever wonder what my life is like?
Crazy how much better animation's gotten, huh?
right. But this, to me, though, What If just looks like this with higher frame rates.
Right.
My life is
This
complicated.
definitely doesn't have the highest frame rates.
There's a party tonight at the Sigmas. Want to come? How about if I come late?
Because even in this, like you see, like they're like cartoony proportions.
They look like Barbie characters or
Exactly.
something.
Yeah. Like with What If, I don't think they've really done anything like that. I could totally see people like thinking like, oh yeah, they don't look. I think the overall problem is that none of them look cartoony.
Right.
Like aside from the head sculpt.
Oh, yeah, it's the same kind of thing. It's just like a newer version of it.
Exactly. It's the same kind of animation as that shit. But proportionally, they're normal. They're not stylized. Like they're normal body proportions.
Right.
So like, what could you, aside from actually making the paint and like the coloring on the outfits be more cell shaded, which really wouldn't be too true to the actual design of the series, because it's not really cell shaded in the series.
Yeah.
Where you want to be? That's the question, isn't it?
Every universe is different. Each one
Howard the Duck.
Slow down a little bit. There's a few people in the room that don't understand. Not me, I get it.
Who are you?
Yeah, I don't really care for the. I don't care about it. I'm gonna watch the show. I just don't like the animation.
Right.
I am the Watcher. I observe all that.
Yeah, but I mean, there you go. In the trailer to this episode or this series, Spider-Man is unmasked.
I guess I have to freestyle then.
So they should 100% have an unmasked
Right.
Peter Parker head sculpt.
A Ravager never flies solo. I said never flies solo.
Is that some kind of catchphrase?
You had me worried for a second.
Journey to face the unknown.
Yeah, see, that's the weird thing. Some of the stuff actually, like, I think it looks good, but then there's other things where I feel like it looks cheap.
Yeah.
It's really hard to say like how I feel about it. I just
You have
need
to
to
watch
watch
it more.
Yeah, like some things I think look like I said, they look good. Some other ones I'm just like,
Right.
how about this, man?
Yep.
Yeah. So John is not getting those figures, from what I'm understanding.
No. I mean, not unless the show like blows me away or something. But I mean, they're not going to make the Hydra Stomper. Dude, I think that would be a
Be a
Hulkbuster
random figure.
esque price range. You're talking about, I'm guessing,
I don't.
800, 900 bucks easy.
I
And
don't.
who
think
wants to
they
spend that
would,
much on that?
because this thing just looks like cheap plastic. Frankly,
It really does.
like this looks. I don't. I don't. I think they would probably
Reminds
do
me of a
two
Gundam.
pack for like $600 because it's just a big hunk of plastic. You know what I mean? At least if it like were to be, because this is just a whatchamacallit, a preview figure prototype. But if this is what it was gonna be, like this is not worth a couple $100.
No.
I mean,
It reminds me of a Gundam when I look at it, like a Zaku.
yeah, and like one that's not very
Detailed.
yeah, it's like right out of the kit with no special paint job, and you put it together. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
I would highly doubt they would ever put like there would be no die cast or anything in the.
Yeah. Can't really see it being a very in-demand
And
figure.
I don't think it's would be as big as a Hulkbuster because Steve Rogers is so small. Like he's smaller than Peggy.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't like that kind of lets them not have to make it very big. You know?
Right.
Well, if he's the only figure that can go inside, then yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what it would be. You know? Well, it's his suit.
Well, yeah, but people put other figures inside. You could try and put another figure inside of it, and if you wanted, I mean, switch things up.
It wouldn't be canon though, John.
Oh man,
it wouldn't be
well,
canon.
nobody better pose their figures with somebody else's lightsaber or somebody else's shield or.
Right.
Well, no, it's the multiverse, so you can do whatever you want. See, that's the problem with multiverse right there. This is anything goes. You can do whatever you want. No, I told you, speaking of giving someone else their lightsaber, I almost bought that, what I don't even remember what the movie's called anymore. It's that bad. Oh god. What was the episode 9 called? Rise of Skywalker? Damn, for a minute there I forgot about it, and now it's back. But I almost bought the Rise of Skywalker Rey just to get Leia's lightsaber.
Right.
You know, it's been a very expensive figure. I did like the head sculpt for the Rey, though. I thought it looked good. And I do have the Kylo Ren, so it would have kind of worked out. But yeah, I think the What If figures is a rather odd choice to do regardless, because we don't even know how good the show is going to go. Like, what if the show just fucking bombs? Like, what if nobody watches it? Because you gotta think, it's not really gonna have that much mass appeal. Like, it's a very small amount of people who even watch, like, The Bad Batch
Right.
and The Clone Wars and all that stuff. Like, animated stuff really isn't that appealing to, like, the global audience, you know what I mean? It's a very niche market.
Yeah, but it sounds like they made it pretty cheap too. I mean, they didn't bring in any of the actors beyond Chadwick Boseman, which I mean, I'm super
Chris Hemsworth
happy that
did
we
Thor.
still get Hemsworth dead. I mean, I
Mhm.
know but Dave Bautista just said on Twitter the other day, he was like, nobody even asked me. Like somebody asked him directly, like, why aren't you voicing
Yeah.
Drax in the show? And he straight up said, well, it was never asked. So they definitely skimped on the budget as far as the voice acting goes. I don't know anything about animation, but you seem to think that it doesn't look like they spent a whole lot on that. So, you know,
It depends.
if they did it relatively cheap, then maybe it
The-
doesn't have a high bar to hit. I don't know.
The animation style is just that. It's very stylized. Like, but they also went for, like, as far as the coloring goes, in the way, like, the overall, like, the art style itself. It is stylized in their approach. But the actual animation itself doesn't really look all that impressive by any means. Like, they're not doing very interesting, like, things with the camera work, and it looks all very safe and just like kind of
Mhm.
natural. Like this kind of stuff you would get if you were just filming something, as opposed to like what you could do in animation.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Dude,
a
I already
fucking
said it, and I hate to
crazy
say it.
anime.
I'm clocking out.
All right, dude.
I'm sorry. I'm just so tired, and I don't want to look like I'm sitting here like passing out. It's been a really long week.
You're good, dude.
But I'll see you guys. Follow,
Alright.
like,
All right, man.
subscribe. John, I'll see you tomorrow night, man.
All right, take it easy.
See you.
Oh boy. You're good, dude. We can talk now that the kid's gone, we can talk about the Suicide Squad. See you, dude. What did you what did you think? What did you think of the Suicide Squad?
I liked it. There was a lot I really liked about it. There were a couple things that I was like, well, that's an interesting choice. It felt like they got a little too. All right, the good. Let me start with the good stuff first. The good stuff for me was the humor. Like they just like 99% of the jokes hit perfectly for me. It was hilarious. Loved that part of it. The over the top violence and stuff that James Gunn is known for some of his other works outside of Marvel was there, and it was great.
I said it was like Super and Guardians of the Galaxy mixed into one movie.
Sure. I agree with that. And then but the one thing I will say is that at some point it felt like he got a little too enamored with jumping back and forth between time. So at one point you're doing this, and then 18 hours ago you're doing this, and then and then present you're doing this, and then 2 hours you're doing this, and then 8 minutes and the only reason it felt that way, I think, was because once you kept doing it over and over and over, the movie started to feel like it was dragging. It was like you're never done. Like, okay, now we're jumping back. Oh, now we're coming back. No, we're jumping back. So while that kind of thing, I'm not sure it's an interesting way to do it because, like, I mean, we're going to heavy spoiler territory, but right off the jump, half of the team dies right away.
Right.
Like they wiped out half the team within the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. Well, honestly, as far as deaths go, I was like kind of surprised of how early like Boomerang, like the returning characters went, Like I was trying to think though, like was Boomerang really the only one that besides Harley and Flag that came back?
Yeah.
I was like, 'cause that's what I thought. And I didn't remember anybody else, and I just watched the damn movie. But I figured they would have kept him around like a little bit longer, and then like some of the new guys, all the people in the fucking trailers die in the first 10 minutes.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I kind
of wonder if Jai Courtney wasn't like contracted to definitely appear in the second one, like that he had to be in the second one because of the way his contract was written, or if there was a sequel, he had to be in it, and so Gunn just put him in there because he was gone within the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, and I actually liked his Boomerang too. Like I thought he was fine.
Oh yeah.
Like they didn't like do anything with him in either movie really, but like I thought like what he did with him was fine. Like
Sure.
I wouldn't have minded seeing more of him by all means. Like he's not a terrible actor.
No, not at all. I think he did. Yeah, fine.
I was shocked though, since we're talking about deaths, the only ones that like actually surprised me was obviously spoilers, but it is in the title. But Rick Flag's death and Idris Elba's survival were the two things that caught me off guard. I did not I thought it would be the reverse. Like I thought Rick Flag was gonna survive and then Idris Elba was going to die. Because I thought like there's no point in keeping Bloodsport. Like, and like, I mean, like, what's the point? You're not gonna like, you know what I mean? Like, at least with Rick Flag, it's like that through thread. He's in the first one, he's in the second one. He leads the team. He always gets out unscathed because he's like kind of a badass. But he's not really the main guy, but he's always there. I mean, he keeps everybody in line. He's like useful in that way for like the Suicide Squad movies, at least how they've been presented so far. and I like Joel Kinnaman as well, so I didn't really want him to die. So that one
Yeah.
kinda I didn't see that coming. The
Yeah.
one thing too, as far as deaths go as well, I guess the last thing was like, I guess we now can pretty safely say that the Peacemaker series is indeed a follow-up and not a prequel.
That's definitely what the end credit scene made it seem like.
Exactly. And I'm curious though, like when the two people from the Amanda Waller's office, they go in there and they're like, what do you need him for? And they're like, I don't know, to save the fucking world. Like, what the fuck they need Peacemaker for to save the world? Like, you know what I mean? Like, who else is gonna like? Is it gonna be like a Suicide Squad 2.5? Like, is there just gonna be like another little like small Suicide Squad faction that goes off in there? 'Cause I just find it hard to believe like they get Peacemaker to go do something as important as saving the world on his own. like,
Mhm.
there we go. Like, yeah, we need him, the guy who literally already got killed by somebody else on the team. We need him. Like, I thought Peacemaker was good though. I liked the character.
Yeah.
Was there
Yeah,
anything?
no, he was very irritating.
Yeah. I really did like the way he quote unquote died with the small bullet. I thought that was a good
Mhm.
touch because that was like
Yeah, the
it,
the flip of what they had talked about
yeah,
earlier.
exactly. So I thought that was really good. Despite Bloodsport being a like who the fuck cares kind of character, at least like from the comics and everything, what they did with him was I thought he was cool. Idris Elba was great all the time, but like I wish they would have explained what the fuck his tech was though, because like when he starts pulling out these like guns and they just like fucking
Combine and
yeah, like, it's like, what do you got, like, nanotech, like, quantum realm technology? What the fuck is happening right now? You just pick up these things and then it just fucking turns into shit. Like, what is it doing? Like, I feel like they literally did that just to make him be cooler than what he is. Because I don't know if he has anything like that in the comics. I'm 100% unfamiliar with Bloodsport in the comics. So, like
yeah, I think just about everybody is.
exactly. Polka Dot Man was really cool. You did a good job with that, making him
He was
cool.
good, yeah.
And then, like, him seeing his mom everywhere was, like, really good. Thought that was funny.
Mhm.
Starro was even good.
Yeah.
Starro was
Yeah,
cool.
it was about as ludicrous as you would expect to see a giant starfish crushing
Mhm.
a city.
I thought it was good. I thoroughly enjoyed the film. I thought Harley was good in the movie. Oh, they did a good
Mhm.
job with her. Thought that was cool. I liked the little, like, after she kills the dude and she's escaping from that whatever, that building, they had, like where the like, the flowers and shit come out from behind her.
Oh, yeah.
I liked that because it, like, to me, at least the way I interpreted this, and I might be wrong, but it's like that's like she's fucking insane, and that's what's going on in her head as the
Oh,
whole
yeah,
scene was
yeah, it's
playing
not
out.
blood and violence. She's
Yeah, it's like
she's creating, like, almost artwork to her.
exactly, like
Yeah.
that's what was going. So I liked that. It was like
Oh, yeah.
visualizing what she sees in her head. So I thought that was kind of cool. It was a nice way of doing that anyway. Because at first in the
Mhm.
trailers, when they kept showing that scene, I'm just like, "What the fuck is this? Did they just do this for the trailer to make it look cool?" Like, yeah, it's just like a bunch of
Mhm.
shit comes up from behind her. It's like she doesn't have powers. Like, I was surprised as actually there was no like poison ivy theories because of that. Like, oh, there's fucking flowers behind her. That means poison ivy confirmed, dude. Like, I'm actually surprised I never heard that one time. God. But I
King
mean,
Shark was amazing.
oh yeah, King Shark was fucking awesome. Like, for sure. He was really
That
good.
was just such a great addition and such great use of that character.
For sure. It was really nice. It was a good, very good. Ratcatcher was even good. Ratcatcher
Ratcatcher was
2.
very good, yeah.
Yeah. I liked 2 because I was just complaining about this when we were talking about the Bad Batch. Was like the Bad Batch for like the crosshair stuff, they're breaking the show don't tell rule because they're just telling us the crosshair stuff. We're not seeing anything. But with like Ratcatcher and like with King Shark, he showed you where they're coming from. Like that scene at the end with Ratcatcher when she has the little like flashback in her mind with Taika Waititi's Ratcatcher 1, and like you just completely understand everything about that you need to know about the character and where she's like been and where she's at, you're done. It took all of 30 seconds and you saw it. You didn't have to be told anything, and you just get it and you go. And you get the same vibes from King Shark just throughout the whole thing, with he just like kind of being like, you know, look when he was on the bus looking at the people, and he's like, the camera goes on his face, and he looks all sad, kind of, and you're just like, you get it, you know where he's at. He's just alone, like he just don't got no friends. Like you get that shit. Like he didn't have to like say anything about it. You just get it. That was just kind of like good on James Gunn's part. Like at least I do agree with you though. I could have honestly done without the flashback. I think the opening scene with the like 18 hours later thing where it goes and shows you like what Idris Elba's crew was doing, I think that was fine. Like start the movie off, kill everybody, then do the one thing, and that sets everything up. I really didn't need it at the end again with the building blowing up and go. It's like, why didn't they just do that linearly? I don't understand. Like, you don't lose anything by like I could go in and cut that to like be linearly, and you wouldn't lose anything.
I mean, story wise, I kind of like. My only thinking was that for story wise, they did it so that they could.
Maybe it broke it up a little bit. Like maybe it just didn't feel like it was just like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they say, but there's even one line. There's one throwaway line of dialogue about Waller or whoever, somebody set the charges earlier, set the charges off early. Not thinking that it was the other squad. So, you know, since you're already in that scene with,
that was the Thinker who said that.
The Thinker said they set him off early.
Yeah. Because like the explosion went off and he like falls down and he yells like, "Those idiots set the charges early," or whatever, or like your idiot squad or whatever.
Oh, I thought he said something about Waller said it earlier.
No, he said because it was them. It was it was King Shark and Idris Elba. They were planning and then
they were the ones. Yeah,
and then Peacemaker and then Thinker and all them were down in the thing, and then the bombs go off and Thinker yells it like those idiots set the charges early or whatever, because they were still down there. You know what I mean? But yeah, and then you didn't know what happened though, and like they didn't really get set early. It was the fucking
Polka Dot Man dropped some and
exactly
blew them up.
It was a mistake.
Yeah.
The
only thing I was thinking was that if they did it where if they did it where it was like Waller saying it early, then it becomes a
well, no, couldn't have been Waller, more of an indictment. When they were in there, remember they lost all radio communications until the building got destroyed. Waller couldn't make contact with them at all.
Yeah.
I was surprised that she was going to. Honestly, dude, they did a good job. I even like the whole movie. Like, it's kind of an unfair comparison to say that it's better than the first one because that really doesn't give it enough credit. In all honesty, but they did a really good job of making Waller even more of a cold-hearted fucking bitch, dude.
Oh yeah,
like they were gonna go like save the fucking world and kill Starro. They were gonna try, and she wasn't even gonna give them the fucking chance. Like she was just gonna blow their fucking brains out before they went and tried to go commit suicide. Essentially, you know what I mean? I thought. I mean, just that one thing alone was just like, dude, you're not even gonna let them go like try to stop him. Like, what does it fucking matter? Like, you already think they're not going to win the fight, so why don't you just want them to go do it? Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, no, I'd rather kill him. Man. That was good, though. Was there, did it meet your expectations, at the very least? Do you think it was,
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Um,
Where would you rate it amongst the DCEU films at this point?
oh boy. Dude, HBO Max is running like crap right now. DCEU. I don't know, top 5 probably.
Not number one.
No. Um, this is sorry, I just brought it up here because I was trying to refresh my memory on a couple things. The and HBO Max just pissed me off because the first thing that they have that plays before you start watching it is an advertisement that leads off with Man of Steel. Like you're gonna use Man of Steel as your opening promotion for your DC line of stuff, but you're not gonna bring Henry Cavill back to play the role anymore. That's like,
Dude, I literally said that
cowards.
right when Starro got out, I was like, well, this would be a perfect job for Superman.
Yeah,
Like, this is, if you're going to bring him back in any way, now's the fucking time, dude. Like, how fucking cool would that have been? It's like at the end, like Waller fucking tells, like, yeah, it was cool seeing them beat Starro, sure, but I'm gonna give you my alternate ending. They fucking
yeah.
obey the orders and walk away. Or like, and then they go back and they start to do their walk where they're gonna go take his ass out. And then all of a sudden a sonic boom happens right next to them, and you just see Starro get lifted up into the fucking sky by a blue blur, and his fucking Superman just takes him up to the sun and just it's over. Done. Cut the movie.
Uh-huh.
Superman comes in, he does his thing, gone. That's the alternate ending.
Yeah, yeah.
That would have been fucking cool, dude.
That would have been sweet. It also would have been sweet to see um the original JLA lineup drop in.
That would have been cool too, dude, if they just had like you see a blue blur go over there, punch him a few times. You see like the yellow lasso like light up, and this is all like in the distance, you know what I mean? So you don't really see it. And you see like the bat plane like come in, like just like do some
Well,
fucking like covering fire or some
it was
shit. And it's like, oh, they
showcase
got it.
number showcase number 4, I think, is the original Justice League. No, that was Flash. What was the original Justice? Oh, it wasn't Justice League of America. Oh no, Brave and the Bold. That's okay. Brave and the Bold 28, first Justice League. It was against Starro, and it was Green Lantern, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Flash, and Martian Manhunter. All characters that they have in their universe right now, all that could have shown up
Yeah.
to defeat Starro. Like that would have been a cool.
You know, and that's what I'm
Yep.
saying too. If it would have just happened like off camera, like
Sure.
like out of
Like a hint at
focus.
them coming in.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
like literally, you have the whole setup to where like Bloodsport walks away, but then he changes his mind and he starts walking towards them, like that whole build up right there. But then that's when the JSA JLA come in. You know what I mean? You just hear the
Yeah.
sonic boom come in, like the bat plane comes in and you just see it like from their perspective. You know, however far away they were, the camera just pans up from behind them and you just see it all happening there. Because it's not a Justice League movie, but then you know it's just like something that connects it to the world, and it's fucking cool. You know what I mean? Like it's like fuck yeah, dude. It was like Superman came in and they fucked him up. And that's all you need to see. And then you see it on like the TV screens and stuff they started showing where like, you know, they beat it, but really it was like the Justice League came in, and because then it would also show that like the Suicide Squad got no fucking credit because the Justice League came in and cleaned up the mess. You know what I mean? So then it kind of even goes for the lore of the Suicide Squad being black ops, no one even knows they're fucking there kind of thing. So it would have worked both ways in all honesty.
Mm-hmm. There's an article, Gunn spoke to the Hollywood Reporter about whether DCEU is still used internally at Warner Brothers Studio. And his quote is, "Yeah, it is. It is sometimes. Yeah, I think there's definitely an I." Gunn said, "I got a lot more of it after the Suicide Squad was made, frankly, because they're really just trying to make everything fit together much better." It's interesting that they're still using that.
I know, especially because, like I said before, they never even came up with that shit themselves. They just kind of accepted it.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Well, he said too that he's gonna. Walter Hamada said that he'll be coming back for more at some
Gunn will
point
be
down the
coming
line.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't necessarily say more Suicide Squad, but just more. He essentially said that if and when James comes to do a project, we're gonna have him back. Like,
Yeah. Really curious how they're gonna how they are going to evaluate the success of this movie. I'm sure a lot of it has to do with streaming numbers, but
yeah, there's the one thing that I hope Warner Brothers does with their movies this year, particularly this and Dune, is I really hope they take into consideration the fact that they just have to look at the numbers the best they can and try to correlate that the best they, because it's not they're not going to see the financial success for either of the movies as they would. So like they really need to look at if they want to be real granular with it, look at the watch time. Like, make sure, like, because I mean, to honestly justify the full expense of doing more and seeing how much value would be in making another $150 million movie to go on a streaming service, you'd want to look at all the analytics you possibly could. But I think one of the best ones that you could really take away from that is the actual watch time, because then you could correlate that to, because on Netflix, like a while back, they changed a view to being like fucking 75 seconds or something. Like if you watch
sure.
it for a minute and a half, they count that as a view. And like I've said
Yeah.
before, when like an autoplay kind of thing happens, like you get up, go take a piss, and the next show started playing, they'll count that as a fucking view. And it's like, no, I didn't mean to even start watching that. But if they actually wanted to correlate and find value in like spending that much money, I think watch time would be the best way to go about it from like at a very high level, because
Mhm.
that would more correlate to somebody buying a movie ticket, like watching the entire movie. Like how many people watched the entire movie? Because then you could roughly say at that point that was a $15 spend. That was the price of a
Mhm.
full ticket. Because if someone watched it for like 20 minutes and then that account never went back to finish it, safe to say they're probably not going to go watch the next one in the theater. And now,
Sure.
if you actually go based off like full runtime watched, that's really the best metric you're going to get. Like even for if it's repeat viewing, it doesn't matter because they would have had to buy a ticket to go see it again. So like, I would say honestly, overall watch time would be the best metric. Man, then just like interest is also good too. But I'd say like the best one, the meat and potatoes one, would have to be the like 75% of the movie was watched. Like you go based off
Mhm.
that. Like how many households watched 75% of the movie? Because that would show a very high sustained interest.
No,
Just
yeah, that makes sense.
elsewise, I just don't know what you do. I just don't know what you would do. Is like Netflix, I don't know how Netflix could possibly like care or want to brag even about like, oh yeah, we had 1 million views on this thing, and then you find out a view is a minute and a half. It's like, okay, well, how
Mhm.
many people watched 75% of this thing that you're talking about? Why aren't you releasing that number? Well, probably because it's a dog shit number. Like let's be real. I was actually surprised though too. I experienced absolutely no hiccups. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but there was no latency, no errors or anything with HBO Max. like at
Oh,
10
really?
p.m. Yeah, like so like I don't know if it's like I have like gigabit internet, so like obviously like I'm not gonna experience any issues on my end. So that with them, it's like, okay, did they fucking put in a couple more load balancers and like really get their servers like up in a good place to support a lot of viewership? Or did no one fucking watch it? Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like, is it really only one of two things that could happen there? The thing is, though, I will say, I'll give HBO a metric fuck ton more credit than I would anybody else because they've dealt with very high volume before because they have shows like Game of Thrones that everybody in the world fucking watched right when it fucking came out every week.
Hmm.
So they have a much better server infrastructure, I would imagine, than like a Disney Plus does, because Disney Plus like fucking breaks when that shit launches.
Yeah.
What do you think of Weasel?
I mean, he's a hilarious gag.
Yeah,
That's all he is, though. It was hilarious. I mean, I
I
was
honestly thought he was kind of fucking gross, dude.
really
Like
the
yeah, he
entire
did.
theater was cracking up. Like, I mean, that's one of the things that I think that's one of the things that might get lost for some people that don't see in the theater is like just the communal experience of like a whole theater erupting in laughter because some of the jokes like had the entire like when he I mean, we already done spoilers, so whatever. When he falls into the water in that opening scene and he can't swim, and somebody's like, "Did anybody check to see if Weasel could swim?" The entire theater was just cracking. I mean, it wasn't a full theater, but it was. I don't know. There were probably 25 to 30 people, and every single one of them in there was laughing.
That's good though. That's good. I didn't think
But
any of the
yeah,
jokes were bad or anything, but I didn't really laugh out loud about anything. The only time I even like actually like kind of laughed vocally was something I saw in the trailer. And it was when King Shark ripped the motherfucker straight in half.
yeah,
That's when I laughed. I was just like, Jesus, that was good.
yeah,
And even Freya was just like, whoo. Like I was just like, yeah,
yeah. No,
he got him.
I I cracked up at the end too when she was like, "I'll be your friend, Milton." He was like,
Yeah, that was good.
I'm not Milton. We just had a 3-hour conversation about that.
That was good too. That was a good one.
There were a few like that. John Cena showing up in his tidy whities was
Yeah, that was
hilarious.
good.
Oh man, yeah, there was quite a few that got the theater where I was at least going.
It was definitely a good movie. I'm excited to watch it again, honestly, because like Sarah didn't watch it, so
Okay.
I'll obviously watch it when she's ready to watch it again.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it too. I also want to see if maybe the pacing plays out better for me the second time around because I know it's coming. Like I said, the one thing that was off for me was like like I kept thinking, okay, so this is going to be like this is the end of it. They've jumped around, now we're at the end of it, and then no, you jump back to something else, and then you jump to something else, and so I was like, okay. There were some pretty inventive scene transitions. They almost put like title cards on different sections of the movie.
It felt very much like a comic book.
Yeah, and it did some interesting things with those. I thought it was nice that they let him, get away with doing some of that. It made it pretty good.
Yeah. Like I thought those were interesting, like creative choices in the sense that like it's kind of risky at times because that's the kind of thing that would pull you out of the movie because it's like reminding you that it's a movie, like
Yeah,
explicitly reminding you that this
sure.
is not a thing, you know? So it was definitely an interesting choice to like go that route with it, but I think it worked for the approach. I guess the approach
It
worked for the material.
it was so over the top though anyway
Yeah,
with
exactly.
everything that I don't know that this is not the kind of movie for me at least that I get wrapped up into and I'm like I don't recognize that I'm watching a and I think this is the perfect kind of movie for that matter to use a character like Starro in. Because you're not gonna
Yeah.
get like just the absurdity of a giant starfish walking around crushing a building is, you know,
That's the thing.
lends
Like,
itself
honestly,
to
I
that.
don't think Starro would have been all that good in a full-on, like, dramatic Justice League
No,
movie. I don't really think it
no,
would
it
have
would
worked as well.
unless you keep it off screen for all but maybe the last part, and then you've got to go really like. I think you've got to go really dark, almost like King Kong, Godzilla type dark scenes, so that you're not really you're hiding how kind of like well you're hiding how absurd it looks to see a giant starfish walking around a town.
Well, and honestly, too, there's really, like, not much you could do. And honestly, though, you could do some interesting things, like, morally, I guess, with Starro because, I mean, obviously, they didn't give a shit. And if you think about it, everybody that got the starfish on them, they just killed them.
Yeah,
But granted, they did show, like, explicitly, like,
but they were dead
once
already, right?
exactly, once they get the
Yeah,
starfish on their head, they're fucking dead. So, there's really, I guess, not a whole lot you could do, like
it's funny. There's a lot of tweets about it right now, and I'm just kind of looking at people's reactions, and it seems like completely split. Like people either love it or they hate it, and I heard that there was like some review bombing going on. So I'm wondering if the people that hate it are just saying they hate it just because I don't understand why. It sounded like from what I read that there are some people like they're for the restore the Snyder stuff that don't want this movie or don't like this movie because they think it isn't that, but it's so tied, like it is tied very much into the Snyderverse. So I would think they would be happy about this.
it
I
literally
don't know.
yeah,
I'm very confused.
it's a direct continuation, realistically.
Yeah.
Like, literally because you had, like, Harley and everybody in it, like, it's a direct continuation. They even reference it. Like, they literally reference the previous events. So it wasn't
Yeah.
even really like a soft reboot. It was like, "Oh, no, that stuff happened." Like, she was there. Like, what is this? There we go. I mean, it's at a 92%
Oh yeah.
still. That's pretty good.
Is that critic?
Yeah, and it's at 88% audience score, verified audience score. I did hear somebody saying like, I saw some like, I don't know, like, if it was just something on Reddit or something, I don't know. Like, I saw what you're referring to, I didn't look into it. Because anytime I hear about that, I'm just like, "Oh, okay, cool." It's like the Captain Marvel shit all over again.
Yeah.
Like, wow. I feel like what ends up happening is do you wanna know something crazy about this shit?
So
Oh, no, I was just reading the chat. More than Snyder's what? Like, more than, Justice League or Man of Steel? Because I didn't like it as much as Man of Steel. It was better than I think it was better than Justice League, Snyder's cut of Justice League, though. Like, I will say I probably enjoyed it more than that movie. It was obviously, like I said before, it was an unfair comparison to say it's better than the first Suicide Squad because that movie doesn't
it was
work.
trash.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not a very good movie. The first Suicide Squad is not very good. I liked the characters in that movie, and then it's funny though. David Ayer just did another interview somewhere where someone asked him like, and he point blank said like, the theatrical cut of that film is not the movie he made. Like
Yeah.
he's 100% is not the movie that he cut together and gave to them. Essentially, is like that's not what that movie is. So I'd be curious to see how different Ayer's cut of that movie is, just out of morbid curiosity. Because the fact remains, like all they did was recut and re-edit it. All the material was still there, and like frankly, the material wasn't all that great. Like some of the scenes were cool and everything, but I don't know if like the fast-paced music video editing kind of things that happen throughout the movie is what necessarily made it bad. You know what I mean? I think the
Mhm.
material itself wasn't all that great, but nevertheless, I thought this movie was great. Do you think James Gunn will come back and do a follow-up to this, or you think he's gonna do something else?
I think he'll do something else. I don't know. I mean, this is right in his wheelhouse, so it would make sense to do another one like this. But
That's what I'm thinking.
I think he'll. I don't know. I don't know that maybe he got all the Suicide Squad stuff out of his system. I don't know what else he would do though.
You know what I
I
think
mean,
he
and,
could
and
do?
then does he bring back the
Ooh.
same characters?
Dude, he could do Lobo.
He could do Lobo. I don't know that they would. I mean, but Lobo, like at least
They've been
this year,
trying to
Harley
make
Quinn.
Lobo forever, dude. The Rock was attached to being Lobo at one point. Like they've been trying. They introduced Lobo in that fucking that Krypton show. Like people at DC and Warner Brothers, they want Lobo to work somehow. I think the downside is the perfect Lobo has already been cast as Aquaman. Because Jason Momoa would have been a goddamn perfect Lobo. Like
Yeah.
he's got the look, he's got the attitude for it. It would have been fantastic. That was your Lobo. And I think James Gunn could do a really good fucking Lobo. And I think that would be that's right in his wheelhouse.
Oh, sure.
But I don't know. Like at the same time, I could totally see him just doing the Suicide Squad, like another Suicide Squad. Because I don't know, unless though, like maybe he'd want to like do something completely out of his wheelhouse and yeah, I mean, because like Guardians of the Galaxy and like it's not R-rated, but like it's the same type of movie as this movie was. This was, like I said, it's just pretty much allowing him to make Super and Guardians of the Galaxy and just throw it into one movie. So it's like maybe he'd want to do something completely outside of like his expertise next time. Like maybe he would want to come in and do like a super dramatic. I don't know. I don't know why he would, unless he really wanted to. I don't know. It is really hard to say with someone who has like made the movies that he's made. I don't know if there's any DC property other than Suicide Squad that like is better suited for James Gunn.
No, I agree.
Like I can't think of one. Other than Lobo, I think Lobo would be really good. But that's honestly, you could just put Lobo in the next Suicide Squad movie and like just call it that. Like, and he would just like, why not? Like, what else would I really don't know. Not that it matters. I would like to see him do something like that, but we'll see.
I mean, he could do. I'm trying to think, like he could do like. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like other smaller characters that aren't household names necessarily that he could go in and take on and do something with, or teams that he could do something with.
Titans. He probably would have been a good. He probably would have done a great job with Titans. Like
yeah, Titans would have been decent.
Like the real Titans, not the TV show Titans. Like Trigon and like the actual Trigon, not the TV show Trigon. Like because that's also like Raven and Trigon and all that shit's weird. And he's into that stuff, so I could see him pulling that off in a much better way.
Yeah. He could do what's the Justice League, the 1980s. He could do a funny take on the Justice League from like the 80s. Keith Giffen and can't remember the other guy's name, did a run on Justice League that was very tongue in cheek. It featured Booster Gold and Blue Beetle and Batman and Guy Gardner, and it was kind of like Justice League, but with the C team with Batman on it. It was a great comic series, but it was
So it was like the
also
Brave and
not
the
your
Bold TV show.
yeah,
Is that
except
cartoon
kind of yeah, sort of, but more comedy thrown in. Like you don't normally you think of Justice League as like an epic, giant superhero battle type comic, and this was not. This was more like
yeah. That's what the Batman Brave and the Bold show was, dude. It was a like straight up fucking comedy, yeah. And like they had like the Elastic
I guess I didn't watch a
and,
ton of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a funny show. Like it was not serious in any way. Like Guy Gardner was a staple. I'm remembering the show correctly. Like I know it wasn't a very serious show.
Giffen and DeMatteis. It was called Justice League International, It featured, who's the team? Batman, Booster Gold, Blue Beetle, Dr. Fate was in there, Guy Gardner, Shazam, Martian Manhunter, Black Canary, Mr. Miracle, and Dr. Light.
Yeah.
And it was just, the famous scene from that comic is in like issue 3 or 4. Guy Gardner is mouthing off, and Batman punches him, knocks him out with one punch. It's like been memed to death in the comic book world ever since, because he just lays him out.
That's funny. Oh boy. Whatever he does come back to do, I'm excited for it. I'll tell you that much.
Mm-hmm.
After seeing that, that's the one thing too I will say is like, as much as I'm down for anything he'd want to do, like obviously, I wouldn't want to have him come in and not do something like this because he's so good at it. You know, like just doing like this ridiculous fucking Starro and just like Polka Dot Man and like the way he was able to come in and do like just take these characters and one make them likable, make them interesting, tell a compelling story, but then also have however many stories, starfish walking around, blood and guts everywhere. Like I want more of that. So like I don't really know what else you could do to have that still happen, like in whatever other project. You can't make a Batman movie and have that be your basis for it, like it just wouldn't work out that well. So I'd be hesitant to see if like any other thing he would want to do, or at least that they would want to do. Because I don't think he would do anything that he didn't want to do by any means. But but boy, I'll tell you what. As far as these figures go, I mean, come on, dude.
We finally got the Mando Luke. We should talk about that while Rick was still here.
Oh, I know. We got that, dude. We got that. I got all three. I got this. I got this.
Sorry, I don't have the stream. Hold on, let me jump over the stream.
Oh, you're good. Oh, I guess I should pull up. Would it be easier if I just stream it directly to you?
Yeah, if it was in Discord, that would work. It'd be real time.
Yeah, let me do that.
There it is. That, I tell you what, I was looking forward to the Mando Luke. I didn't for a second think that they would include that statue, the bust,
the crushed Dark Trooper, dude.
Dark Trooper, yeah, that's amazing. That's such a great touch.
Well, and they also have the cutout, dude, the diorama.
Yeah,
the diorama, man.
Yep.
I didn't know they had the diorama like until after I bought it. I was like, oh, cool. I'm getting that too. I do think it's crazy though. Like, as I was telling you this, they cannot land the like Mark Hamill's head sculpt like very well at all. They don't do it very great. But by golly, did they fucking nail that CG Luke Skywalker head sculpt? Like that this looks exactly like that CG version that we saw. Like it's it's Mark Hamill. It always felt a little bit off. And this is exactly that. Like this is like I will give them credit.
If it's CG, can't they just like if it's CG, can't they just use a computer program to have it, printed, 3D printed or something?
If it was the same
can't the
program,
computer just interpret it?
If you could import the model into a CAD program, then absolutely they could have. But
yeah, no, I mean it looks good. I know people, I mean, I think that's there are some hot toys I always think look better than others, and I think their quality has gotten better over time. I mean, I look back at some of my early figures and, things from 8, 9, 10 years ago, and they look phenomenal at the time. And now I look at them and go, okay, it's there, but it's not nearly like some of the new ones that they come out with.
Well, it's like everything, like movies too. You go back. I remember playing Legends of Zelda: Ocarina of Time on the Nintendo 64, and when I was playing that game as a child, I thought I was like in Hyrule, dude.
Yeah,
like,
you'll never have anything better. It looks exactly
those
like
polygons looked better than it did when I looked outside. And when you go back and look at that fucking game, you're like, oh my God, what was wrong with me, dude? Like, how did I possibly think all these triangles? Like, there's like 10 polygons on the entire screen. like 30 pixels, and like that's like, yes, it looks so real. It's like, yeah, so it's like everything. Like, it just, amazing things happen in 10 years. I really like the material, the fabric of everything that they did for this. I love the hood. The hood looks so good. It is a very,
Mm-hmm.
very good. It looks perfectly
Think it's
sized.
wired?
It's oh yeah, it's 100% wired. You can see it shaped like perfectly around them right here. But it's the size though that they nailed, because like with the Solo Darth Maul hood it's needs to be a little bit like bigger, and then it needs to be have a little bit more depth, and it's a really shitty material. It's really thick. I mean, like rough, so it doesn't fall nicely at all. But then the Phantom Menace Maul hood is also too. It's not long enough. Like, it doesn't come up high enough. So then you get no drape over his head, like, really at all. So, like, I will say though, with the Obi-Wan robe stuff was pretty decent. It was pretty decent. The Obi-Wan and the Dark Side Anakin one I have are pretty decent, but this one looks the best so far. It looks nice and thick too. Like, it looks like a very thick. And then he's wearing what I love about this outfit too is it's like the more traditional Jedi like tunic, and it's not like, the tight singlet that he wore in Return of the Jedi. So
Yeah.
I like just the overall look of this Luke. How about that timing though? When you literally said that you picked up the Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker, like this was like the day before this thing got announced. If like I think it literally was. It wasn't not like the day before, or like maybe 2 days
Yeah.
later. Like, I literally said like, yeah, I've been looking at getting that, and I like almost bought it on eBay a couple times, but I decided just to wait for Mando Luke, so they'll make it at some point, and then boom,
Yeah.
here it is.
Yeah, I'm still glad I got that Return of the Jedi. I mean, there's pieces about that this one doesn't come with that
Oh yeah,
I'm
for
glad
sure.
I've got.
Well, that's the thing too. As much
But
as
yeah, it
I
was
kind of prefer this traditional Jedi tunic look, the the Return of the Jedi look is a classic suit. Like
yeah.
his little singlet thing that he's wearing, like the skin tight stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
that is singular to Luke Skywalker in that movie. No one else has worn an outfit like that in Star Wars at all. So like I would still like to have that figure just to have that. Like, frankly. But that being said, I am a traditionalist when it comes to Star Wars. So I like having the just like, that's a traditional looking Jedi motherfucker right there. That looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
But he's in all black, so he's even cooler, because
Yeah.
that's literally what my cosplay looks like. It's like I'm wearing Anakin Skywalker boots and he's wearing Luke Skywalker boots. But that's exactly the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then, man, I mean, speaking of Anakin Skywalker, though, my dude, these things finally, some pictures, some better pictures. And dude, these things look so good.
They do. They look awesome.
Like I was so on the fence about them for like ever since they were announced. But then as I
How
kept
does that
seeing more and more,
how does that saber attach?
there's a little cover tech wheel. Where's mine at? I don't know where mine is. Dude, I literally bought one for my lightsaber, and I think I brought it out here, and then I lost it at some point. So there's like just a
So
little thing that it just clips onto. It's just like oh, you don't have a
it
Jedi
hides
figure,
the
do you?
handle.
Yeah, you don't have a Jedi figure, do you? Because they all have one.
I've
Let me
I've
see
got
if I can
Luke.
just find it on here. There might be a
I
picture
just
of it.
haven't gotten him out.
See if there's one. Because there's a little.
So there's a little hook right there on the leather part of the belt, and then
Yeah, and then you have the little cover tech wheel, and that just
yeah.
clips onto it. This is exactly
Oh,
what it
okay.
is. So they have
Okay.
one that is literally that comes out like this far for you to actually hold, but then they have at least this is how Hot Toys does it. These are removable, and then there's one that's like twice as long for when you want to belt clip it.
Okay.
That's how they worked on Hot Toys. I don't know if I don't remember if my 'Cause I have those 2 Sideshow Jedi figures, and I can't remember if they function the same way or not. The Mace Windu and Ki-Adi-Mundi, but those are also, like 13 years old or something, 10, like,
Mhm.
so who the hell knows? Like, dude, those hand sculpts even look really good. What really impressed me, though, was the with these Clone Wars ones, were the proportions. I didn't even look at this stuff. This is interesting.
Which
Why
ones are you
is
looking at?
Oh, my bad. I didn't realize I put it on
Are
as
you
me.
good?
I didn't look at the accessories.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's just the way they have this positioned, but, like, why does the unsheathed one look a little bit
Longer?
bigger? It looks like a little bit bigger.
Mhm.
'Cause these are a little bit off center at the top, but there seems to be a significant difference down here at the bottom,
There
which is
is, and then it also seems like the handle's wider.
yeah, it seems like it's thicker grip and everything.
Maybe because of the hand size, maybe they needed a smaller
Yeah,
one to put into the hand. Keep the hands at a proportion they felt, I don't know.
yeah.
Or to not, or, maybe the bigger one is proportionally more accurate, but the smaller one doesn't make you have to break the hand to get it in there.
Yeah, and probably just, it probably is just more proportionately accurate as far as, like, resting there, and instead it probably was just more ergonomic for the hand sculpts and everything for it to be smaller for the wielded one, and then,
Mhm.
just so you're not putting as much stress on the hands to, like, pull them out and whatnot,
Yeah.
be my guess. But, what I'm really curious to see, though, too, is, like, I have the Hot Toys Ahsoka that's based on, the Clone Wars one, but it's a realistic interpretation. I'm curious of how well that it'll look if I put her with these guys. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'm actually very curious if, I said this when these things first got announced, but are they gonna do more of these? Because these ones look so good that I wanna see more of these. And I'd really like to have, like, dude, call me crazy, but, like, I would literally think it would be cool to have the 3 DTOFs of Star Wars figures I have right now, all the realistic ones, and then get
Mhm.
a whole other set of them of the animated ones, even though they're the exact same fucking figures. I would love that. I think it would be really fucking cool.
Mhm. No, that would look good. I mean, especially if you had them like set up opposite each other, or like if you had a big display case, you have one set on top, like on the top shelf, and one set on the bottom shelf, and just kind of I don't know, the contrast between the two would
Yeah,
look
yeah, just
pretty sweet.
something. I think it'd be great. And plus, it's like an excuse to buy more of, like, my favorite characters, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
It's just like another interpretation of it, and I love that they got split cut boot designs too, so, like you're not gonna have any issues with articulation on the ankles.
Mhm.
Honestly, though, see, this is a perfect example of what we were getting at least what I was trying to get at with, the animated likeness for, like, versus Spider-Man and that stuff. 'Cause, these, you can 100%, like, look at them; 'em, they're fucking animated. And it's for them, it's not just the head sculpts, it's their fucking design, like, their character models. They actually have, like, longer legs and, like, whatever the fuck, they're a little bit thinner than, like, a normal Obi-Wan would look and just, like, they're a little bit more stylized. It's primarily
Mhm.
the heads, but I don't feel like if I were to take my Hayden Christensen head sculpt and drop it onto this figure, I don't think it would look right. Maybe it would, but I don't really think it would because, like, they have, like, the sculpted boots that lend itself to being animated, etcetera. I am disappointed, though, that the Obi-Wan doesn't come with the shoulder armor.
Yeah,
This-
that's surprising.
I mean, this is the latter half of Clone Wars that they're basing this off of, like season like 4 or 5. He stops wearing it, but nevertheless. Look, that looks fucking
Those robes look
perfect.
really good.
Dude, that looks spot on. Like, I just love they were able to
Is his
nail
saber
the
that is his
likeness.
saber that long?
What do you mean?
The previous picture, it's a
Yeah.
lengthy saber. Okay.
Yeah, it looks about right. These ones look a lot more regularly proportioned. They do look different though, like slightly off-sized a little bit.
Yeah.
I am surprised about the release date on this though too.
Beginning of the year.
Yeah, like that's pretty soon.
Mhm.
What? Which I'm curious because Grievous got pushed back, and I just told you I had a another email of them delaying my C3PO. So I'm curious if Grievous got delayed again as well. No, he's still August to September. Interesting.
Is Grievous supposed to match up with these guys in terms of scale and everything?
Well, he's a true 6 scale, so he does come
Okay.
in about like the size of a standard quarter scale figure. He's like 16 inches tall, I think. Yeah, they have these sizes wrong. So yeah, he's like 19 inches. Oh, that's the box. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was right. He's 16 inches.
Okay.
So yeah, he's about the size of a quarter scale figure. But I mean, that's just how tall he is. What I'm curious to see though is like, because even like this is technically speaking like a Clone Wars figure. I think they branded, or they branded as just straight up Star Wars.
Looks like it's just Star Wars, but
Because I heard, I think in one of the, it may have been in one of the shows they were doing at some point. Maybe they were just speaking offhand or just talking about like the era. But it sounded like they were trying to say that like they come from the same line. But in the end, because I think I mentioned this to you before, Grievous of all the characters in the show, like the animated series, he pretty much is like a one-to-one representation. Like he didn't get like dumbed down or stylized any differently than he looked in the movies. Like he looked exactly the same in Clone Wars and then in Attack of the Clones, like in the prequels. He was just higher res. Like they didn't make him look any different proportionally or anything. So like I
Mhm.
could almost bet that like this will probably look good on the shelf with, and honestly, I think this would actually probably look better with the animated figures because I could see Hot Toys doing this with much better weathering and making it look much more just real.
it looks plasticky,
Yes, exactly. I don't think Hot Toys
and
would do
so it
that.
looks like it fits better with the animated ones, in my
Exactly.
opinion.
No, that's exactly what I'm saying. I think the Hot Toys, if they were to do this, the texture would be completely different.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he might actually end up looking better with my animated figures for sure. But I think it's kind of a benefit with him. I think he would technically probably work either way, just depending on how you'd want to use him. But see, he would be a pretty cool centerpiece to like have like a shelf of live action renditions of the prequel era characters, and then him in the middle, and then it fades into the animated ones. Like he'd be like the break
Mhm.
point between the two. And then you put like both Anakins right there next to him, then the Obi-Wans to the side of them, and then just keep going out from there because they constantly fought. I think that would be really cool. And then put Dooku, of course, like right there if you had an animated Dooku and a regular Dooku. But
Mhm.
that's like the dream shelf. I don't think that shelf's ever going to happen. I don't know how fucking deep they're going to be going into that animated line, man. Have to see. Oh. Did you end up picking up any of these more recent figures that just got announced?
No, I haven't even done like Mando Luke yet. I'm kind of I don't know. I'm trying to fill in holes in my like I won in Infinity War Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I want the Mando Luke, but it's so far off that I don't feel like pressured to buy it yet. I've got a Mando and Grogu right now. They got their first release, so I don't know that I'll be getting this one.
I had no
Sideshow.
intention of ever buying this thing, but the chrome just got me. It looked really good.
You still got a quarter scale one coming too, right?
Yeah. The chrome just looked so good, dude. Like I was like, God damn it.
I do have a $25 promo code that is going to expire in a little bit. So I'll probably end up ordering something else here sooner rather than later. I don't know what yet though.
See,
Captain America in-game cap is still on pre-order on Sideshow's page.
That's funny, dude. I'm literally at the point now where like I want them to stop announcing figures and putting them up for order because I need them to actually ship me shit so I can get my rewards points.
Yeah.
Like at this rate, I'm just gonna never be able to use my rewards points. I'm gonna buy everything that I want and then get stuck with these rewards points, and they're not gonna announce anything I want for like 3 years probably.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. I think this Pedro head sculpt is really good. I think it looks good.
No, I think they did a great job with it. I love this set. I mean, it's got all the different accessories I would want. At some point, like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many Mandos and Grogus I'm going to have displayed. Every time they change one little aspect of it, I'm going to buy a new one. And like I don't have enough space to just have an entire shelf or an entire detail full of Mando Grogus.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's why when they announced this one, this was like the chrome. I was like, okay, this is the de facto. It's the best one they've done yet, and I don't really know how much more you can improve on it outside of him getting like entirely new armor in season 3. So I was like, I'm just gonna fucking get it, like, because I already have the Wave 1 Season 1 unchromed quarter scale Mando coming. So like he's got that. So that I have Beskar Mando from Season 1 in quarter scale. I have Season 1 Durasteel Mando in 6 scale, and then I'll have fucking chromed out fucking cool looking Season 2 Mando when I have this. And like I don't need any other fucking Mandos after that. Like actual Din Djarins. Like I find it very unlikely that they will do anything to revolutionize and change his costume in any way that would require me to want to buy another Mandalorian figure. Because he's got everything with this. He's got the spear, he's got the Darksaber, he's literally got everything that I was fucking annoyed that the quarter scale one didn't come with. Was essentially why I had to get this. Like, 'cause he even has the guns and everything. He's like, and they didn't have to include all the guns and stuff because this is supposed to be like end of season 2 Mando. He didn't have the guns. He just had this like the sword and his blaster. And the spear.
Yeah, I honestly didn't even realize that he had different armor in season 2.
Yeah, because he just changes out bits and pieces here and there, and like the thigh plates and stuff was like off camera for the most part. Like the thigh plate is one of the droids. It's like an armor plating from one of the droids he killed. Like, but that was destroyed at some point. But yeah, I mean, if
And
this
so
thing wasn't
the
chrome,
Beskar.
wouldn't have got it.
So was there a story point that when his Beskar armor became chrome?
In what sense?
Well, like there's a very clear transition in the first season after he gets all the Beskar. He takes it to the armor makes him his new suit.
Yeah.
And that's his Beskar suit. That's all shiny. But then apparently there's a chrome version of that later on. Like
Oh no, the chrome version is just for the Hot Toys thing. It's not like they chrome plated it so it would look more like metal. Like just so it would better match what's in the show. It didn't change in the show. It was just he got the Beskar and that was it. So Hot Toys actually did like chrome
they're
plating
saying
on
that
it.
the chrome version of it looks more authentic than their Beskar version of it.
Yes. It's just the Beskar. There's no difference to it canonically. It's just like this picture just shows the difference. Like it just looks more metallic. It reflects light better.
Which one's what? The
one on the right
one
is the chrome, yeah. Because you see how it just like casts the light better? It's the chrome plating is just a more because they literally with the way they did the chrome plating on this, it's like the same sculpt and everything, but they did like a vacuum seal, like true heat absorbent chrome plate onto the armor.
So there's metal actually in it instead of
exactly.
Okay,
and that's how it's.
So it's yeah, okay, that makes more sense now. I for the longest time I just figured, I'm colorblind, I can't tell differences and stuff, and
right.
I was just like, all right, cool. They changed his armor from Beskar to chrome at some point. Whatever. Like I don't remember that being a story point, but whatever. Because every Hot Toys discussion group is, oh, this guy's chrome armor now. I'm like, oh, okay, sure, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
I just went with it. I was thinking like, but that makes more sense that Hot Toys just fudged with it. And
yeah, they just changed it on their own.
So it's a heavier figure too, right? I mean, since
it's not like made of metal. It's like a what's the best way to describe it? It's like in the paint. It's like heated chrome scrapes are in the paint. So when it goes on, it just dries metallic. You know what I mean? It's like chrome plated chips melted into the paint. Boom. There's a whole it's a heat process that I'm not 100% familiar with. But that's the basis of it. I always get worried that I accidentally bought the wrong one. I don't know if you ever do that.
Could they make the names more collector's edition? But the collector's edition isn't really the one collectors actually want.
Yeah,
it's basically the standard edition. Then there's the exclusive edition, which is the collector's edition, but with one extra piece. And then there's the seriously, get your name. Don't be afraid to call something standard. That's I understand why they don't, but
man.
Don't be afraid to, because it is actually just your standard version. The 285 collector edition of this figure is just a standard. It's the baseline model. Otherwise, you run into issues where people just don't. And I'm sorry, but collector edition sounds more impressive than deluxe edition.
It does. It does. Every time I always get concerned that I'm buying the wrong one. That's why I hate when they have the same price. The deluxe version and the collector version are the same price. And it's like, well, what the fuck, dude? Which one's which? Just tell me which one. I really think they should just change it to Sideshow exclusive version, or and then just regular version, or collector edition and Sideshow exclusive collector edition, something that makes you know that this is the one you want.
Yeah,
because even on this picture, right? You would think that they would put deluxe version underneath the one on the right, and then collector version underneath the one on the left. That way, it's clear what you're getting. Because
Sure.
it's not clear when you're looking at the site. Like,
No.
because like with this Mando, the deluxe version, the only difference is you get all the knapsack shit. Like all
Mhm.
this stuff. This is the deluxe version. Getting these accessories.
Well, and that's the other thing with buying another stupid effing Mando figure is like I'm not, you know, I think it's I understand they're in to make money and that's fine, whatever. But they're not going to release that stuff as an accessory pack for the people that already went out and bought, you know, the Mando and Grogu set the first time around. So now
Oh
you're
yeah.
stuck getting basically the same figure with some upgrades to it. I don't know. It's just it is what it is. It's I mean they're well within their right to make money, but I might as well wait and see what they release next year because there's going to be
Oh yeah.
you know there's going to be one every year. There's going to be one, and it's like it's like it's like sports video games now. There's going to be a new iteration every year, but do you really need to get it every year? Like, can you just like? And I think that's going to be the same with Mando. I'm just going to like take my time now, and if there's one that comes out that has stuff that I'm just like blown away by, and I'm like, oh, I have to have that, then I'll go ahead and do it. But
That's why I
I'm
try to
not just.
get like things that really like can't change all that much. Like
Mhm.
Bo-Katan, I went ahead and got because like, what are they going to do to change Bo-Katan? Like Bo-Katan's
Sure.
always going to be Bo-Katan. Durasteel
Yeah.
Mando at this point, I mean, he's done with. Like having that Gen 1 Mando, he's never going back to it. They're not going to change on that anymore. So if you want that look, that's a good figure to have. So I would
Mhm.
honestly, like you were saying, I would feel really like as a consumer, I would be really pissed off if I had already bought the non-chrome one because
Yeah.
like they come out with the chrome one and it's just like it just aesthetically looks better. Like just the paint job
Well,
on it. It just
it's
looks
got
better.
better accessories too.
Yeah, got
It's like
everything.
they did. Yeah.
He literally has every attachment. So it's like everything that came with the Durasteel Mando and the Beskar Mando come with the new Mando, and he gets even more stuff. And he gets
Yeah.
a regular head sculpt and a wired cape on top of all of that. So it's like,
Mhm.
fuck, dude. They just like literally, and that's why I went ahead and got this one because, like, at this point in time, it is like like there's not going to be any improvements on this to make this one feel like less superior. I don't care what the fuck they do. Like to me, like they'd have to like you'd have to get entirely new designed armor in order for
I
it to
mean, I
be any
guess
different.
the one benefit is I do get to have mine sit on my shelf for a year and a half before this one ever comes out. So
Yeah, that's what I
I
saw a
guess
lot
there's
of people saying though too. Is like you like I don't know if it was just copium or not, but they said like it doesn't come out for like a year and a half, so you have a year and a half to like enjoy it or sell it.
yeah.
And it's like, well, I guess that's true. Like
I mean, it feels like the same thing's going to happen with the Boba Fett though too. Like they're going to come out with a
100%.
better armor version of Boba Fett other than that first one they released. So I don't know.
Yep, and that's why they fucked me in the ass by making him come with the throne
Mhm.
because I had to get it. I could not get it. I couldn't risk not being able to get the throne.
Mhm.
Like, but I'm a sucker for like that shit. You know, I mean, that's the stuff that I want. Like, you give me a like the Darth Maul, like the fucking Solo Maul. Like, I love Darth Maul, so like obviously I was interested in buying it anyway. But the fact that he came with that stupid little stool, like that's what like made me just like, you know what? He does come with that fucking chair, so it kind of I do want to get that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm literally let me pull up my cart here. I'm not gonna like show it on the screen because I don't want to give away my order numbers, but I just want to look at like where I'm at here. Open orders. What do we got? I'll just look at all because some things are in the same thing.
They sent me a promo code for $10 off from their their
It didn't
event
work
they
with
did a
anything
couple.
I wanted
It
in my
didn't work with
cart.
anything.
It was
Yeah, I
annoying.
was just like, yeah, I was like, okay, thanks. This is like I hate the way they do their rewards now. I got to enjoy their rewards for all of about 6 months before they switched it up, and now it's just trash. But
Well,
I
that's
guess they
what.
don't need they don't need to really offer rewards to entice people because people are buying stuff left and right.
Yeah, I mean, the only benefit is the actual rewards points you get, because then you can use those on anything you want. But then you
Yeah.
have to actually have the figure. That's where like I was like I'm kind of annoyed because like I have all these things. Like I would have how many pending points do I have actually? Let me look at that. So I should have a figure's worth of yeah, I have $301 in pending rewards points. Now, my rewards points aren't set to mature until well, they don't even give me a date because they don't know when the shit's gonna ship. So never mind. Yeah, $301 in pending rewards right now. So I have a whole figure ready to be purchased. But let me see what the latest release I have is. I got Mando Luke for December 22, and then Boba for December 2022. I think those might be the longest releases I have. Well, then Mando, and oh my god, I'm gonna have a very expensive next Christmas. Like those are like 3 of the most expensive figures I have on order. 400 for Boba, 330 for Luke, and 375 for Mando. Fuck me.
How many open orders do you have right now?
I'm looking right now. $20.
Yeah, I have 11, and I have 3 of them are on their final payment, just waiting for because they all got pushed back because of delays. So Thor, Battle Damaged Iron Man, both of those from Endgame, and then the Flash TV figure all got pushed back because who knows when those figures will actually come out, and then everything else is next year.
Yeah, everything I have other than well, they say Grievous is supposed to come out this year, but I don't know. But I got Grievous, Maul, Clone Wars Maul, and then Clone Wars Ahsoka, Rex, and C-3PO. That are all coming, and then the quarter scale Mando is supposed to come out this year too, but I don't know on that one as well.
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain it'll probably reach its release date because it's been available for a while. Like I ordered it like a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I got like, and then I got the Pennywise that I got for Sarah, so that'll technically be here this year at some point. But then I also have that Gambit from Toys Wonderland that should be coming soon.
Oh, that's right.
I'm excited for that.
Forgot about those guys.
Did you end up picking up the Gambit?
No. No, I decided I needed to keep my did Toys Wonderland have some weird thing where they got shut down?
No, you're probably thinking of what did that happen with? Like 1/6 something. Not 1/6 Kid. It was like maybe 6 Scale Outfitters. I think
Okay.
I think it was 6 Scale Outfitters was going to get shut down, but then they didn't get shut down.
Okay.
Maybe they did get shut down. I just Googled 16outfitters.com. Yeah, they're still up. I think they were getting shut down, but they inevitably didn't. Oh yeah, then we finally got the
Alright.
Cyborg release too. I forgot about that.
That's right. I think I'm gonna have to hop off. I gotta get up in the morning and work, so
I hear you, dude. I feel you.
but I'll hit you up tomorrow, see what time we try and do the show.
All right, that sounds good, man.
Alright, man. Later.
Later, dude. All right, fellas. Well, that'll do it. That'll do it. I hope you guys let me know what you guys thought about the Suicide Squad down in the comments because I thought it was good. Obviously, off the top, we talked Bad Batch. Pretty good. I'm still liking the show. I like the show enough to order the Hot Toys figures for it. So I mean that says enough. The thing with Bad Batch is like there's so much potential there, and they've introduced so much good stuff, really good story beats. I just really want them to like. I want them to just hit the landing, man. That's all I really want them to do is just hit that goddamn landing. Or stick the landing, rather, I guess is the correct phrase. But nevertheless, I'm liking where it's going. I'm excited to see how they wrap up the season come next week. I'm leaning towards the camp that I don't think anyone's actually going to die from them, unlike the Suicide Squad. So, but whatever you guys thought about Bad Batch, the first half of the finale, let me know in the comment section below. Then also, let me know what you thought about Suicide Squad. I thought it was great. I'm looking forward to see whatever James Gunn has in store for future DC projects. Like I said, early prediction, something outside of the Suicide Squad franchise that I could see him doing at DC would 100% be a Lobo show or Lobo series, Lobo movie, something. I just think he could really nail that character. So let me know what you guys think he could do down in the comment section below as well. And do not forget, our show, Honest and Uneducated, comes out every Monday. And you can submit topics and questions to our show for us to address on the show, rather, by emailing us at honestanduneducated@gmail.com. That's honestanduneducated@gmail.com. And also, I will be having the collectible reviews come back soon. They will be coming back soon. I will have some more time in my hands to actually get some of these reviews out. As I said, as we were just talking about, I got tons of figures coming in that in the next, hopefully, if they can meet their actual release schedules, I'll have a bunch of new figures coming in by the end of the year. I have a bunch of figures that if you go and watch this, like kind of collection preview tour, pretty much just showing off the lighting in this most recent video. But if you would see, if you go and check this out, that there's a ton of stuff that I have in these display cases here that I still have not done a review for. So those will be coming back soon at some point in time here in the future when I have some more time on my hands. So stay tuned for those, and those will be out every Wednesday. So go check out, just stay on the lookout for those and subscribe to the channel, get notifications and all that for about when those goes up. And then you can follow me simply at Sir Rob Bifo. And again, hope you enjoy the content. If you like the content, like, subscribe, do all sorts of fun stuff. But you can follow me at Sir Rob Bifo. And until next time, guys, take care.